Welcome to Technically Speaking, a new monthly program produced by St. Clair County RESA and featuring the St. Clair County Technical Education Center. You know, TEC is one of the best kept educational secrets in all of St. Clair County and is preparing to celebrate its 35th anniversary. Our goal in this and every edition of Technically Speaking is to give you an in-depth look into the programs offered at TEC and introduce you to the staff, the students, and the quality of education offered there. In this episode of Technically Speaking, we are going to introduce you to one of the original programs here at TEC, Engineering Graphics and Animation. This program has undergone several changes over the years and now features some of the latest computer graphics and software. Every concept or idea for a new product, house, building, or tool must be thought out and designed before it can be manufactured or built. Students in the Engineering and Graphics program are taught this process from initial concept through design and all the way to product development. Here, not only do students learn how to design a product, they also produce a prototype. The U.S. Bureau of Labor predicts there will be nearly a 10% growth in job opportunities through the rest of this decade for students with architectural and civil drafting skills. And for those students going into animation, the demand is even greater. When we come back, I will join you in the Engineering and Graphics classroom and we'll meet the program's instructor, Dave Draper. Welcome back to Technically Speaking and welcome to the Engineering Graphics and Animation classroom. And joining me now in this segment is the instructor for the program, Dave Draper. And Dave, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So Dave, give us a little bit about your background and how you became the instructor of this program.
Well, I went to Fair State University and got my associate's degree in architectural drafting, and then worked in the drafting field for about 10, 15 years. And an opening came up over here at TEC back in the late 80s for a third session, and I started getting into teaching and went back, finished up my bachelor's degree in education.
Great.
And then worked adult ed for several years. And then in 2000, an opening came up here at TEC, and been here since.
Wow, that's great. And that's one of the unique things here with the instructors. One of the requirements, you have to have, 4,000 hours in the occupation that you're teaching?
Yes, 4,000 hours in your field, and all the instructors here did not go for their education degree before they came here. They work on it after they're already working here.
But having that experience sure counts,
Yes.
and I'm sure the kids really see the difference with you helping them learn those skills and that type of thing. So tell us a little bit about this an Engineering Graphics and Animation program. What's this program all about?
Okay, what we do is mainly drafting itself, and we work into using AutoCAD at the start for the first year students. They end up doing pretty much basic drafting. We've gotten away from a lot of the manual work now, but we still do sketching, lettering, and then they'll go into multi-view drawings, section views, assembly drawings, a little bit of architecture at the start, and do one final capstone project at the end of the first year.
Now, is that one of the biggest changes in the program? And not so much, obviously, curriculum has changed over the years as technology and knowledge has increased, but is it mainly because you're using computers for most of the work rather than paper pencil like you've done back when you were in school?
Yeah, that's the main reason. It was hard to switch or to just using computers, but the industry's going that way more. So, but there's still certain manual work that they need to know and be able to do, even if they don't go into drafting, there'll still be something they can use in any occupation.
Now, you've also added animation to the program. Tell us why you did that and what you want to accomplish with that part of it.
Okay, next year would be the first year that we're going to add animation to the program. And the main reason we did that was during the last couple open houses, a lot of students and parents have been asking about animation or game design. And it's something I've wanted to have in here, but it took a little while to finally get everyone on board to say, yes, let's do it. And what we're going to be using Maya for our main program, and then Pixar RenderMan for the additional rendering program that we're going to use.
And that Pixar is like what we see with some of those Pixar movies coming out, isn't it?
Yes, both programs. Pixar will use Maya to do part of their films, and then they use the RenderMan, I think, to do like finished product on the movies and that.
Now, not only do students get a chance to obviously learn some skills in that, but they also have a little competition that they get to participate in. It's called MITES, isn't it?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, MITES is the Michigan Industrial and Technology Education Society, and it's been around for about 80 years now. And it's a good competition because the students can do the work right in the classroom and do not have to go to the competition in May. But they can work on projects of any type project they want, and usually I can find some category to put it in. The main one that seems like most of the students end up doing is the architecture for some reason. But they, several will do, I tell them you can do any project, even work that we did in the classroom, and submit it for the
What do students gain by participating in the MITES program?
I think that gives them more confidence in what they can do, especially if they place in the program. A lot of ours will place at the regional level, but to go to the state level and compete against all other schools at the state, and to place within the top 10 there, and we've done very well over, especially last year, we placed first through fourth in several categories. Great. So I think it really gives confidence to the students.
And not only that, participating in that, but can't students also learn some college credit while you're in your program here too? Yes,
they do have articulation from our program, especially SC4. And Ferris and a couple other schools, Baker. And it'll give you 2 classes that you will not have to take at those schools normally.
Oh, great.
It used to be the manual part and then the CAD part.
Okay, great.
So that works out for the students. It saves the parents some money, as they go to school.
If mom and dad came up to you and said, Mr. Draper, why should my son or daughter enter into your program, what would you tell them?
Well, I think even if they don't go into this field, I think everything that we do will help them in any occupation they go into. And with CAD, you don't necessarily have to be in a drafting occupation. You could be in public safety, you could be in the health occupations. You could be in several fields that you wouldn't think of that would use the drafting CAD that we learn here. Plus with animation now, you can do that on your own through freelance work, and I really have to move out of state to even work on it anymore.
That's great. Well, it's time for us to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have the opportunity to meet a couple of students in Dave Draper's Engineering, Graphics, and Animation program, so don't go away.
Everyone has friends. There's online friends, friends to go out with on a Saturday night, friends to hang out with and do nothing, friends who show up on moving day. And then there are the friends who'll be there if someone is dealing with a mental illness. Are you one of those friends?
Welcome back to Technically Speaking. This is one of my favorite parts of the program where we get the opportunity to meet some of the students that are attending here at Tech. And so on this program, we're going to meet students from the Engineering, Graphics, and Animation program. And we have seniors from St. Clair High School. We have Emily Zellman and Zach McCullum. Welcome to the program.
How you doing?
So tell me a little bit, Emily, starting with you, what made you decide to choose this particular program here at Tech?
I really like to design, and I really love to draw and things like that. And this program offered a lot of that in the architectural and the mechanical drawing things, so I was really interested in that.
Is being somewhat artistic kind of like a prerequisite or not for this program?
Not really, you don't have to be. It helps, but you don't have to be, so it helps though.
Okay, great. Zach, how about you? What made you choose this program?
I've always been quite artistic also. I mean, if you're artistic, you have a tendency to lean towards this program. I've also always been very mechanical, and I have a passion for cars, so naturally I gravitated towards this program.
That'd be great. Are most of your classmates too sort of like you, kind of like to draw and kind of diddle and do those kind of things?
Yeah.
Kind of fun, so they all have something in common then too.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Well, tell me a little bit, what's a typical week like for you here in this particular program?
Well, Monday through Thursdays, we go through our job sheets, and in my job sheets, because I do architectural, I tend to do layouts. Right now I'm doing plot layouts of land surveys and things like that. And then on Fridays, we have kind of an open day, which is where we can go through and maybe do our mites projects and right now I'm drawing a house, so we can just, Fridays are kind of for your own thing, so.
Okay, just kind of get caught up or
Yep.
experiment a little bit.
Yep.
Great. Zach, how about for you?
For me, I design like small parts. Like right now, I'm about to start a vise that we're making, and then we can actually use our 3D printer and print out the part so you can actually hold it or make the entire part and have it work and everything. But lately, I've been doing special projects. I've been designing cars. I've actually had a couple of requests. Like I'm working on a '63 Ford Galaxy right now. I designed an '81 Grand Prix, and I printed those out and I've made models out of them.
Oh, okay. Do both of you get to make models or prototypes or whatever? Mm-hmm. Now, for you, with being in architecture, is that kind of like a full-scale, I should say full-scale model, but a scale model of a house or whatever building you're designing?
Well, I haven't made one in the 3D printer, but Zach actually made a house, a 3D house. It's pretty big, and he just made it out of wood that Mr. Draper had for us. So I can do something like that, or I can try to print it out of the 3D printer, but I haven't done that yet. So.
Okay. Zach, how about for you?
I've designed a house. I actually made the house as a backdrop for the car.
Oh, okay.
So I took foam core and then I sat there and I put balsa wood for the siding on it and everything.
Well, that had to be kind of fun.
Yeah, it took a while though.
Did you build models when you were a kid too?
Yeah, a lot of them.
So nothing like getting to do it a little bit more detailed.
Right? Legos back in the day, but now it's.
There you go. Well, that's cool. What's the difference for both of you? You're both seniors, so this is the second year in your program. What has been the difference between the 2 years for you guys?
Well, last year we did pretty much the same thing. We did a lot on AutoCAD, and we always drew the same things. And then this year, as seniors, we have split off into, he's doing mechanical and I do architectural. So we kind of go our own separate ways. We're allowed to choose what one we want to do.
Can you explain to our viewers what you mean by AutoCAD? What is that?
AutoCAD is a 2D program where you draw, we usually tend to draw parts. I don't know, some are the vices.
Yeah, the vise is where it started out. The vise started out on AutoCAD as a two-dimensional product. So you'll have your three views. You'll see the top, the right hand, and the front view. And from there, you could transfer it out to SolidWorks and then make it into a 3D part. So basically, AutoCAD is a trainer, sort of.
Okay.
And it's only in 2D.
Yeah.
And then SolidWorks is 3D.
So it's like anything else, that's your basic you start
Yeah.
with, and then once you learn those skills, then you can advance into the animation and other things that you're doing. Great. What kind of careers are you preparing for through this program?
I'm kind of undecided, but I'm leaning more towards architectural interior, more things like that, instead of actual buildings, just houses and things like that. So.
Okay, so you found there's quite a need for that? Or?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so you'd be able to work like with an architectural firm
Yes.
as one of the team members?
Yes, yeah, that's what I would like to do. So.
Okay, great. How about you, Zach?
I'm looking at mechanical engineering naturally, but I also have some interest in civil engineering because I do like designing the houses, and civil engineering can be taken in many different directions. So,
what other skills are you finding you need to be successful in this particular program?
You need to be really, you need to be really focused. And I think being focused in this class will help you prepare you for the work world and things in college. So that's one thing that I find important.
I think you need to be able to take previous problems that you've had with parts and be able to apply them to parts that you're now designing, so that it'll make the process go smoother and you'll be able to solve problems a lot quicker and easier.
If you found too, you had to have good communication skills, good math skills, pretty good in science too, probably would be my guess.
At this level, it's really not that intensive a math.
Okay, that's good. How about physics?
A little bit as far as stress on you gotta. For certain metals, there are different stresses, so they can only handle so much pressure. So you gotta kind of
That's
be
more
aware
for
of
what
that.
he's doing,
Yeah, for
obviously.
her,
So.
not so much.
If you had one of your classmates back at St. Clair High School come up to you and say, "Hey, I'm a junior. I'm thinking about maybe going to TEC," what would you tell them? Why would you suggest that they come?
That it's a great opportunity. That it not only helps you get into the field that you might want to go into, but it prepares you for everything. It's individual work here, so it gets you really into the world outside of school. So it's really prepares you for a lot.
I would say it gives you a great idea how the workforce actually works, because you're on your own for the most part. It gives you an idea of what the field is like. It makes you actually know if you want to go into it or not, or if you should choose something else. And plus, it's a college credit if you want to go into that field. So I have a drafting credit for college, so I don't have to pay for a class. So.
And Zach, I know you've had the opportunity to participate in the MITES program that Mr. Draper was explaining to me a little bit earlier. What was that competition like for you?
It was pretty intense because I only got honorable mention, and I thought mine was pretty good, but apparently there's some people that are a lot better than me.
So what did you have to do?
I had to completely render my drawing, so I had to make it so it was visually appealing. And then I had to send in a $2 entry fee, so it was only $2 to enter the thing. And then I sent it out to the regional competition, and then I didn't make it past the regionals. But if I would have made it, there's states, and then there's worlds, and then I think after states, there's scholarships available. I'm not sure on that, but.
Good learning experience for you, though?
Yeah, definitely. And I knew I had to step my game up a little bit.
Great. So, you guys ready to kind of demonstrate some of the things that you're able to do?
Yes.
Great. So when we come back, Emily and Zach will show us what the kind of skills that they're learning and some of the tools that they're using here in the engineering, graphics, and animation program, so don't go away. Welcome back to Technically Speaking. We're now at the drawing boards of Emily Zellman and Zach McCullum. And the drawing board is a little bit different than what we may have experienced years ago. Not only do we have the T-square and some of those things, but we've got a pretty powerful computer. And Zach, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about the software you're using and what you're going to demonstrate for us.
We're using SolidWorks, and I'm going to demonstrate how I made this model car, how it came to be. First, I started out by designing the body of this car. I'm not going to actually do it because it took me a couple weeks to do. So I'm just going to show you some of the pieces that I used to produce this car. First, I have the body, and I'll just spin that around for you. But this is an 81 Grand Prix. I did this pretty much from pictures, and then I went on Wikipedia and got like the wheelbase and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, sure.
So I could get roughly the right measurements.
And so this is actually drawn to scale then, right?
Yes.
What's the scale you use?
This car is roughly a 24th scale.
Oh, okay.
So it's your typical model size for the most part.
Okay.
After I did that, I continued the frame for the car so that I could then mount the wheels. And I also just threw the exhaust in there just to kind of make it look cool.
Okay,
but as you can see, I actually have the leaf springs in there. And the original design had independent front suspension and everything, but when I printed it out, that broke, so I had to redesign it.
Okay. Now, did you have to do a lot of research to make sure the dimensions and all of those kind of things?
Not so much as just kind of eyeball it and put it up to the picture and just compare it, make sure it looked right. I mean,
but if you were actually designing an
you
automobile,
would be right on, and plus you wouldn't be copying something that's already been done.
Sure.
So,
there you go.
But then to make it look more complete, because I am sending this into MITES this year.
Oh, okay.
I'm entering this in the plastic models competition they have there. I designed the interior for it also. I even put the gauge cluster in there. And I put like a racing style seat, center console. And then I had to, of course, make some wheels. So I did your traditional 5-spoke, and these only took me like 5 minutes to do, which was nice. This was the easiest part of the whole car to make. And then in the end, you put it all together and you come out with a model like this, and then you send all these individual parts to our 3D printer that we have, which is it creates a model out of plastic.
Okay.
And then you actually end up with something like this car. And I put this together piece by piece. I had to take it to the auto body shop to paint it and everything like that. But
Well, you're also telling me before we started this segment a couple of extra things you had to do to make this car even smooth. Tell us about that.
I had to sand and Bondo the entire body because it had like a ripple effect. Like, I don't know if you can see the dash, but it's kind of rippled. This whole body of this car was like that, so I had to work in the shop for like 3 weeks to get it smooth and painted.
Who would have thought you'd have a Bondo a model?
I know, a plastic one at that.
So wow, so that's pretty good. Have you designed anything just on your own using this software without looking at pictures or a model of something?
I've done, well, Last year's model that I sent into Mites was I tried to redesign my own car. I have
Okay.
a Jimmy, and I tried to redesign that, and it turned out kind of boxy and stuff. So it's easier when you have pictures, that's for sure.
Easier said than done, huh?
Yeah.
Well, great. So, I mean, obviously, this gives you a pretty good idea of what actual automotive engineers do for a living and how they come up with concepts in it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
So, like on this model, you could have made fins on it like they had back when I was a kid,
Yeah.
back in the 50s and 60s, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or you could have rounded them, or any number of those types of things.
Yeah, I could have just completely made it a different car. I could have done the stuff I would have loved to do.
Well, fantastic. Very good. And we wish you all the luck as you go into Mites and take this model in for your competition.
I'm probably going to need it.
All right, great. Thanks, Zach. Now let's turn over to Emily now, and she's going to show us how she designs a house. So Emily, take it away.
All right, I am working in Chief Architect. I'm going to show you how to put a roof on, a deck, and some front doors. So,
Okay.
all right, so.
And you came up with the dimensions on your own.
Oh yeah, you can. Yes, you can just, if you want to just make a roundhouse, you can make a roundhouse. You can. It's quite easy, and you can make it however you really want.
Okay.
So, you can put on a deck, and then let's see, I made a list. And then, in order to put the roof on, which usually you do second, you have to build the deck first. So,
Oh, okay.
let me go here.
And that's just to make sure you have the dimensions right, where the trusses go, all that kind of
Yes.
things that are important for a house.
Exactly. So you go here. Oh, just kidding. And in order to put a roof over, I found this out a couple days ago actually. In order to put a roof over the deck, you have to put a ceiling on it.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, what you would.
So that dark gray then symbolizes the ceiling
Yes,
then, okay?
it does. Okay, so then I put that on. And then I can actually, you can go into a view of it.
Oh, wow,
View
okay.
of the house. I put grass in earlier. So
Oh, okay, that's
it's
good.
a little bit better.
Nothing like a little landscaping to help.
Exactly, and you can, and then these are all of the things that you can put on your house. There's cabinets and everything that you can possibly put in a house, even more.
Okay, so you do both the interior as
Yes,
well as
yes,
the
it's not just an exterior, which the interior is my favorite part. So,
Sure, of course.
you can put doors on it, and you gotta go back here. Let me see. You can put, you don't have to put just the door that they give you, and in here in the library, there are so many different types of doors
Okay.
that you
So you can actually, rather than just creating like a blueprint of what the floor plan
Yes,
would
you
look
can
like,
you can
really
design the
actually
entire
design it.
thing. Yes,
Okay, okay.
yes. So then you can put windows in and certain things like that, and then go back to the view, and it's real simple on the
Holy
outside.
cow.
And then I can go inside for you.
Now, you've done this all on computer. Have you ever tried to draw it out on paper like they used to do in the previous years?
I haven't gotten to that yet, but
okay.
that's part of my job sheets that we do. So.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, so here's the inside of the house. It's not much. You have to put, obviously, interior walls to break it up a little bit, but it's kind of basic. It looks just like a regular house, so
Okay.
it's kind of cool.
Like with Zach's program, he was able to, as he called it, he printed out to a plastic. Can you do the same thing with this, or is this where you have to basically build those models by hand?
We haven't tried the 3D printer yet. I'm sure you probably could.
Okay.
But personally, I would like to build it by hand. It might seem easier to build it by hand.
Sure,
So,
okay.
so that's that house. I just want to show you how you get the basics down.
Sure.
And I'm actually doing a house for mites right now also. This is my bigger house. And I did this off of a picture that I had found, and I'm really a fan of country houses, so this
Okay,
is kind of what I was going off of.
With the big porch and the
Big wrap-around porch, and
Sure,
yep.
okay.
And you can put furniture in, and they have so many different kinds. You can change all the colors and plants and things like that. So
there it is.
this is
Fantastic.
my house.
Now
right
for your mites competition, interior decorating, landscaping, it's all part of what is required for what you're going to be submitting, right?
Yes. We usually submit the outside of the house. I've seen some people do the insides, but I'm going to submit the outside of my house. So
Okay.
as soon as I get landscaping in there, it'll look a little bit.
And you're going to just be submitting the drawing or the
Yes.
the photo like that looks like is okay.
Yep, just like that. And then I can take you around it. Okay, so you can, what I do is I like a lot of colors, so I've changed all the walls and put all my own furniture in to make it look pretty. And you can put molding in, you can put lights in, you can pretty much do anything that you can in a regular house.
How detailed?
Yeah, it's really, really fun actually. And it gives you really good experience of how to do certain things. And here's my kitchen. Yeah, so it's really a good program.
Well, what a great learning opportunity, and I wish you well as you enter this house
thank
into
you.
the competition, and hopefully you'll come home with a blue ribbon as well.
I hope so.
Fantastic. Well, Emily, Zach, thank you so much for joining us on Technically Speaking. And when we come back, we're going to talk to a student who's been in the program before and tell us about how this experience here has worked for him in his career. So don't go away.
Thanks. You believe this guy?
Are you trying to start a wildfire?
Sorry. Pass the honey?
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When life's this hard, graduating can be even harder. But you can help Ativa and the students in your community make it through by visiting boostup.org.
Welcome back to this final segment of this episode of Technically Speaking. I'm joined now by Troy Dietland, a recent graduate of the Engineering Graphics and Animation program. And Troy, welcome to the program.
Hi, thanks.
So how long ago has it been since you graduated from this program?
It's been 2 years. I graduated 2008.
Great. What are you doing now?
I'm actually going to SC4 right now for an engineering associate's degree. I'm actually just about done, got a couple more classes to go.
Then you're planning to transfer to a four-year school?
Yeah, yep, that was the plan so far, transfer and finish up with a bachelor's degree and see where I can go from there.
Great. Is there a specific career path that you're going down?
I started into mechanical engineering, and that's basically what it's turned into, trying to go into mechanicals. And maybe I actually had a dream when I was younger about going, getting a job with GM and helping them out. That'd be an awesome job to have.
Yeah, definitely. There you go.
Yeah.
Especially with all the new hybrids coming out and a lot of the new technologies that they're bringing in. That would be pretty exciting.
Yeah, have a lot of drafters out there to try and get their stuff together.
There you go. Yeah, how did the Engineering Graphics and Animation program help you prepare for where you're going?
It did a real good job. I mean, I came in here not knowing anything, really actually not too much about computers even, and not knowing about the programs and stuff we use. And David Draper, the teacher here, he helped me out a lot and was able to push us through and teach us the programs. And now with knowing all that, I was able to go to SC4, and I mean, even with the degree I'm doing, I was able to actually skip a couple beginner classes because they're like, oh, well, you know what you're doing. You can substitute those classes for a higher up class and not be so bored.
And in the big scheme of things, that's really worth the effort that you put into this class for 2 years, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, yep. It helped out a lot. I mean, even like for payments and stuff, I mean, I didn't have to pay for those two classes, so it definitely helped. And
Great. Why did you choose engineering graphics and animation? What drew you to this program?
Well, throughout high school, I wasn't really, I mean, the lit classes and things, I'm going, I'm bored. I don't really care too much about this. I mean, you have to know that stuff, but I was always bored with the teachers. And coming here, I just kind of looked around here and looked at a few different places and came in here and I was like, oh, well, this looks kind of interesting, being able to draw on a computer and design things. And it intrigued me to keep going with it, and so I signed up, and I'm actually very happy I did it.
Now, the economy is really forcing tech to adjust some of the programs, and one of them is the co-op program. But when you were here a couple of years ago, you had the opportunity to participate in Tech's co-op program. Tell us about your experience with that.
Yeah. I co-opted at Maypel Industries over on Dove Road, and it helped out a lot. I mean, I was able to go there, and they taught me things that, I mean, here you're in a little classroom, not with everyday workers, and over there I was able to work with a couple of guys and be able to learn things that helped me out with going into the real world and knowing kind of what I'm going into.
And what a great way to start building a resume for future use.
Oh yeah, yep. It definitely is on my resume and like that, and it just helped out.
If a student came up to you and said, Troy, why should I consider tech and why should I even look at the engineering graphics and animation program, what advice would you give them?
Well, like I said before, it really helped out with real-world stuff. It got you ready. And I mean, everything here is great. I mean, it doesn't really matter what program you go into here. It always is going to help you out with real-world stuff. It gets you a little head start compared to other people that didn't go. And I mean, I even found that out a couple of ways with going to a few of my classes even, that I would know something already and be able to help out a student when the teacher was busy.
Great. So, well, Troy, thank you for joining us on Technically Speaking. Glad you could be here. We want to thank you for joining us on this episode of Technically Speaking. Want to thank the instructor of the Engineering Graphics and Animation program, Dave Daper, his students, and also Troy Dietland for joining us to give you a glimpse of what this program is all about, as we're Technically Speaking taking a look at 35 years of St. Clair County Tech. And we want to remind you to join us or to view our website at sctech.org. We invite you to join us on the next edition of Technically Speaking, when we'll learn about Tech's metal machining technology program, one I think you'll find very fascinating. Thanks for joining us. Hope to see you next time we are Technically Speaking.